My favorite quote about practicing piano comes from the amazing keyboardist Craig Taborn. If you don't know who that is, he's phenomenal. Check him out with Chris Potter's Underground Quartet, among other things, but he's incredible. And in the documentary on Chris Potter's quartet, Craig Taborn says, I practice as slow as I can and then get slower for about 2 hours. And if somebody were listening to me practice, they might think it's a little kid playing for the first time. And I think that is a powerfully profound way to think about practicing piano, because most people, and if you're watching this, if you're learning piano, ask yourself if you're like this. They try to go too fast and they try to do too much and be too complex. And they, proverbially speaking, put the cart before the horse. Now, Craig Taborn, if you go listen, he has a solo piano record. Go listen to it. He can play lightning fast. He can play some crazy complex things on the piano. And he says when he practices, he goes so slow that somebody might think it's a little kid playing for the first time. Think about that. Think about that next time you sit down to practice, especially if you're an adult who is wanting to learn music. There's this pressure of, oh, it's later in life. Oh, I have to catch up. Oh, I'm behind. And be able to silence that voice that tells you you need to speed through it. Take a breath, slow down, and practice slowly. With my students all the time, I find that they pick tempos on songs they're working on. They're too fast. They play their scales too fast, play arpeggios too fast, play chord progressions too fast. I've had a student recently who's had an amazing amount of success and huge breakthroughs on their instrument by playing major scales as whole notes with the metronome at 50 beats per minute. So I'm serious. That means they're going bum, 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 right? Super slow. Treat it like a meditation and be able to play so slow that you just get lost in the music. So many people think, well, it's going to be boring if I have to play slow. Well, it's on you whether it's boring or not. Like, what's boring to me is not being able to play the sounds I hear in my head. And what's fun is being able to play exactly what I hear in my head every time on the first time I hear it without having to do redos or starts and stops, just hearing something, playing it. And the best way to get there is to play laughably slow. Like, and I love what he said too about people might think he's literally a beginner when they hear him practicing. It's like, practice isn't performance. Practice isn't showing off. And you might have a spouse in the house or family members or roommates, and you're not practicing piano for them. You're practicing for you. You're practicing to get better. And so practice should sound it shouldn't necessarily be entertaining to listen to. And a lot of people, when they sit down to practice, they just perform for the other people in the house or perform for themselves. And as a result, there's like 4 or 5 things you might know how to play, and you just play those over and over and over again. And then you don't actually get any better. 6 months goes by and you can still play the same 4 or 5 things. I challenge you to go to the piano, pick something you want to learn, and play it obnoxiously slow. Play it embarrassingly slow. Play it painfully slow. Play it so slow that you get every note exactly right. And what might surprise you is you might start to do it, and 30 seconds in, you might start making mistakes, because what happens is your mind starts wandering. You haven't trained your brain to be able to stay focused on something really slow like that. I remember when I was in college, I was playing a Beethoven sonata, and this is even before I heard this Craig Taborn quote, but my buddy suggested to me I play it at 10% speed. And I thought that was I was curious about the idea. So I put the metronome down at literally 30 or 25 beats per minute or whatever, and started playing it. And I realized I got to about the 10th measure and I couldn't really play the notes. You see, I had practiced it so I could basically play it up to speed, but only in this like way that was by rote, like on autopilot. It's like my fingers could go digga 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 digga, but I didn't really know what I was playing. And when I slowed it down to 10% speed, I had to like actually relearn it. I had to open the book back up, really study what the notes were. And then after working through, I realized a lot of the piece of music I couldn't play at 10% speed. But then I was able to work it up, and then playing through the whole thing at 10% speed. By the way, this was like an 8-minute sonata. So that means it literally took me 80 minutes to get through the whole thing. Talk about a meditation. Talk about brutal, painful, slow practicing. Talk about something that's not fun to listen to. All the things I'm saying to do in this video, I did. Played through it, took me 80 minutes. And then when I went to practice it at a faster tempo, closer to the performance tempo, all of a sudden, it was way cleaner. All of a sudden, any of the parts that were challenging before got way easier. It was way smoother. I had a way deeper understanding of how the music was supposed to go. So Craig Taborn's quote one more time is, I play as slow as I can and then get slower for about 2 hours. And if someone were to listen to it, they would think it's a little kid playing piano for the first time. Crazy. Next time you sit down to practice, play as slow as you possibly can. It is one of the paradoxes of music that the slower you practice, the faster you get better. You know, imagine you were wanting to learn another language and you got a book on how to learn Spanish. Who do you think would learn Spanish quicker? The person who reads the whole book as fast as they can, or the person who reads the first chapter as slow as they can and spends a week on the first chapter, then spends a week on the second chapter, right? I've never done this myself, but it's a deep versus wide conversation. And a lot of people, you might be included in this group, want to get better so quickly and so bad that you brush through the fundamentals. And if you can play fundamentals slow, you'll get better faster, I promise. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more stuff. Bye!